Chapter 101. The waiting time was long. Kui Ziyuan and his group knelt on the ground. Their knees were in great pain, but no one dared to get up. Just wait like this. After 20 minutes, the door of the office was suddenly pushed open, and Lin Tianyu hurried in. Master Tiger. Hu Chunlei hurried up to meet him. When Kui Ziyuan and the others heard that Lin Tianyu was coming, they looked up one by one. When their eyes fell on Lin Tianyu, they were all so frightened that they almost fainted. Few people have seen Lin Tianyu, but when they saw him now, the bloodthirsty aura on Lin Tianyu's body immediately made them tremble with fear. Lin Tianyu ignored Hu Chunlei, but his eyes fell directly on David. However, David gave Lin Tianyu a wink, but Lin Tianyu did not come forward to recognize him. Wang Hanhan and Sun Xiaoming are all here. If they know that David knows Lin Tianyu, then David's parents will also know. Lin Tianyu looked at Kui Ziyuan who were kneeling on the ground, then turned his face coldly, slapped Hu Chunlei fiercely and said, "How did I tell you? Didn't I tell you to wait honestly?" Hu Chunlei was slapped and immediately blinded, while Lin Tianyu crouched down and helped Kui Ziyuan up. "It's my poor discipline, please bear with me." After Lin Tianyu finished speaking, he looked at Hu Chunlei and said, "What happened today?" Hu Chunlei didn't dare to hide it, so he could only tell everything about it. When he heard that it was Boss Qian who caused it, Lin Tianyu's face turned cold, and he glanced at Boss Qian who was still hunched on the ground. "Master Tiger, I." Boss Qian felt Lin Tianyu's cold eyes, and stood up with gritted teeth, wanting to explain. "Break his limbs and drag him out, he will not be allowed to step into the Dynasty KTV in the future." Lin Tianyu didn't listen to Boss Qian's explanation, but ordered someone to cut off Boss Qian's limbs and threw it out. Listening to Boss Qian's screams, Kui Ziyuan and the others were frightened and wet their pants again, and Lin Tianyu's brutality made them tremble with fear. "Everyone, today is because my subordinates are not strict in discipline. All your consumption is free of charge. Everyone, go back and continue to play. I am sending someone to deliver a few bottles of good wine," Lin Tianyu said with a smile. Lin Tianyu's sudden change of expression made Kui Ziyuan and the others bewildered. They didn't know what medicine was sold in Lin Tianyu's gourd. They stood there dumbfounded, and no one dared to move. "Then we will thank Lord Tiger for his kindness." Seeing that no one spoke or moved, David could only speak. It should be, it's my lax discipline in this matter today," Lin Tianyu said humbly. David pulled Wang Hanhan and Sun Xiaoming, who were still shocked, out of the office and walked back to the private room. When Kui Ziyuan and the others saw this, they all walked back like corpses. "Master Tiger, these people are..." snapped. Without waiting for Hu Chunlei to finish speaking, Lin Tianyu slapped that Hu Chunlei in the face again. "Do you know who that David is?" Lin Tianyu asked coldly to Hu Chunlei after finishing the fight. Hu Chunlei shook his head. "I don't know. He is our hall master, our immediate boss." Lin Tianyu's words suddenly changed Hu Chunlei's face. As Lin Tianyu's right-hand man, Jui Hall is a hall under the command of Taipei Hall. Hu Chunlei knew it, and Lin Tianyu also told him that the hall master of Taipei Hall had appeared. But he never imagined that the hall master was today's David, a character who looked inconspicuous. Then, that Feng Sihai was defeated by him? Hu Chunlei asked in shock. Chapter 102. What do you think? Lin Tianyu gave Hu Chunlei a cold look. "Today, if you can survive, just burn incense and worship the Buddha, and quickly order to go down and have a few more bottles of good wine, and you can deliver it yourself, but remember, the hall master, I don't want to reveal my identity." "I know, Tiger Lord." Hu Chunlei shivered and turned around to make arrangements. At this time, after David and the others returned to the private room, the entire private room was dead silent. Everyone's eyes widened, and no one could believe that the person with the humble face just now would be Lin Tianyu, the famous underground emperor in Horrendal. Crack! Kui Ziyuan suddenly slapped himself fiercely. The severe pain made him grin. "This is true, not a dream. How is this possible?" Kui Ziyuan couldn't believe it. What just happened was true. Others are also stunned, and their eyes are blank. "Chen, David, do you know that Lin Tianyu?" Sun Xiaoming looked at David in disbelief and asked. David's performance just now showed no fear at all, and even beat Lin Tianyu's people, but Lin Tianyu was not angry at all when he came. When Sun Xiaoming asked such a question, everyone turned their attention to David. If David really knew Lin Tianyu, would they still have any good fruit? You must know that they humiliated David just now. I don't know. David shook his head. Seeing David shaking his head, Sun Xiaoming felt very puzzled. since you don't know each other, why is Lin Tianyu being so polite to us? I see, it must be that Lin Tianyu knew Manager Kui. Didn't he see that Lin Tianyu politely helped Manager Kui up first after he came in? At this moment, someone said loudly. Yes, he must know Manager Kui. I also found that Lin Tianyu smiled at Manager Kui. Because Kui Ziyuan lost face just now, these people also saved their own lives. Now that the matter is over, of course they have to find a way to help Kui Ziyuan regain face, otherwise, after going to work, these people will not think about it anymore. Ji Yuan, what's going on here? Do you know Lin Tianyu? Sun Xiaoming was stunned. If Kui Ziyuan really knew Lin Tianyu, he wouldn't be so frightened that he knelt down and even urinated his pants at first, which obviously doesn't look like a pretense. But if he didn't know him, then why would Lin Tianyu help to get his family's foreign debt back? And just now, Lin Tianyu really helped Kui Ziyuan personally, and he apologized frequently. What exactly is going on? Not only Sun Xiaoming was dumbfounded, but everyone else was dumbfounded too. The reason why they put the credit on Kui Ziyuan was simply to curry favor with Kui Ziyuan. Seeing this, Kui Ziyuan rolled his eyes, and then said, to tell you the truth, I have never met Lin Tianyu, but I have a friend who said that he is very familiar with Lin Tianyu, and the two often eat together. Maybe my friend is there. Lin Tianyu mentioned me before, or saw my photos, so after seeing me, Lin Tianyu recognized me at a glance. Now Kui Ziyuan can only explain like this, otherwise he really can't explain his kneeling and peeing his pants. After Kui Ziyuan explained this, everyone suddenly became enlightened. But although the matter has passed, these people are not in the mood to play anymore. After all, they all pissed their pants, and they can't play with their pants wet. Just when Kui Ziyuan wanted to take someone away, Hu Chunlei suddenly led someone to open the door of the private room. Seeing Hu Chunlei coming, Kui Ziyuan's expression changed with fright, and everyone else retreated. Seeing this, Hu Chunlei hurriedly explained. Everyone, it was my fault just now, I didn't ask the reason clearly, I came here to apologize, here are 2 bottles of Louis XIII, you can try them all, if you need anything, you can call at any time. Chapter 103. Hu Chunlei looked condescending and looked at David secretly. David had long noticed that Hu Chunlei was peeking at him, so he quietly waved his hand and let Hu Chunlei go out. Seeing Hu Chunlei walking back, the inside of the private room burst into flames. I'm sorry, Louis XIII, this is a famous wine. I heard that a bottle costs 100,000. I never dreamed that I could drink such a precious wine by myself. It's great, we've all dipped in the light of Manager Kui, otherwise how could we drink a bottle of wine of 100,000? I dare not drink this wine, 1 sip is my monthly salary. Everyone gathered around Louis XIII, and their eyes were about to pop out. After all, these working-class people didn't have this opportunity today, and they were afraid that they would never be able to drink such good wine in their lifetime. At this time, Kui Ziyuan's eyes were also slightly red. Although his salary was tens of thousands a month, he didn't dare to drink a bottle of red wine of 100,000. This was too extravagant. But Kui Ziyuan can't be too eager, otherwise it's too shameless. Okay, what are you doing around here? They all look like they're worthless, aren't they just Louis XIII, there's nothing to make a fuss about. Kui Ziyuan said with a look of pretense, I'll be drinking with my friend, I often drink this kind of wine, including Remy Martin, all of them. Kui Ziyuan pretends to be forceful now, and can only rely on his unwarranted friend. After all, with his current strength, he is not rich enough to drink Louis XIII often. Manager Kui, what kind of business does your friend do? He's too rich, isn't he? He has a lot of face, and he actually knows Lin Tianyu. Someone asked Kui Ziyuan. My friend is. Kui Ziyuan stammered, this is a friend he made up, how could he say it all at once? My friend is in import and export trade and often goes abroad. Suddenly Kui Ziyuan's eyes lit up and explained. As a result, these people want to see Kui Ziyuan's friends, but I'm afraid they won't be able to see them easily, after all, they are often abroad. After everyone heard it, they praised Kui Ziyuan for a while, and blew Kui Ziyuan into the sky. When Louis XIII was opened, Kui Ziyuan poured a small cup by himself, but David did not. Just now David glared at him and was startled. David drinks such a good wine, and 1 sip is thousands of yuan. David didn't care either, looking at a group of big men with wet crotch, when they were having a good time with wine together, David almost didn't laugh out loud. Han, it's getting late, let's go back. David said to Wang Han. Wang Hanhan looked at the time, then nodded. David followed Wang Hanhan, and Kui Ziyuan didn't care. After all, David was superfluous here. Xiaoming, don't play too late, or Uncle Sun will be in a hurry. Before leaving, David told Sun Xiaoming. Sun Xiaoming suddenly showed displeasure and said, "Is it your control? Are you my father, my mother, or my elder? What time is it when I want to play? The dog is meddling with the rat. David, you'd better send your girlfriend home. My girlfriend doesn't need you to worry about it. It's a lot of work." Kui Ziyuan snorted coldly at David. David was not talking. He had reminded Sun Xiaoming. Since Sun Xiaoming didn't want to leave, David didn't care. After David and Wang Hanhan returned home, Wang Changfeng was still waiting for Wang Hanhan in the courtyard of the community. Seeing that Wang Hanhan came back with David, Wang Changfeng suddenly smiled and said, "Hanhan, you go out with your brother David to play, and don't tell me a word, I worry about it for nothing." Chapter 104. Aunt Wang, I called Hanhan to attend a colleague's party together. I'll take Hanhan to our company for an interview tomorrow. David hurriedly explained to Wang Changfeng. You don't need to explain to me. I can rest assured about what you are doing with Hanhan. Even if the two of you spend the night outside, I won't say a word to Aunt Wang. Wang Changfeng looked at David with deep meaning in his eyes. This made David a little embarrassed, and Wang Changfeng dared to say it. Mom, what are you talking about? Wang Hanhan blushed and hurriedly dragged Wang Changfeng away. After taking 2 steps, Wang Hanhan did not forget to look back at David. After today's incident, Wang Hanhan's love for David has increased a lot. The next morning, David and Wang Hanhan went to the company together, but it was time for work, but no one came. David and Wang Hanhan waited for more than half an hour before seeing employees coming one after another. One by one, his eyes were dark, and it seemed that he played too late last night, so he couldn't get up this morning. As for that Kui Ziyuan, he waited until after 10 o'clock before yawning. As soon as he sat in the office, he made himself a cup of tea. What time is it now? Is this how you work? David pushed open the door and walked into the office, and asked Kui Ziyuan. This company belongs to Sonia, so it is his own. Of course, David is not happy if these people are late for work. Kui Ziyuan was stunned for a moment, and then burst into anger. David, what are you? Don't forget that I'm the manager. You actually take care of me and don't urinate to take care of yourself, hum. Just as Kui Ziyuan was yelling, Sun Xiaoming walked in with Wang Hanhan. What are you doing? Get angry early in the morning. This David doesn't know how high the sky is, and it's a joke that I'm late. Kui Ziyuan raised his mouth. David, your task today is to get 1/3 of your group's accounts up. If you don't come on, work overtime at night. Kui Ziyuan is using his position to give David a slap in the face and let David know how powerful he is. David smiled coldly, turned around and walked out. Not to mention 1/3 of the accounts, David wanted to pay up all the debts. He didn't like others owed him money. When David went out, Sun Xiaoming asked Kui Ziyuan to go through the onboarding procedures for Wang Hanhan, and also assigned Wang Hanhan to his own group. It can be seen that Sun Xiaoming likes Wang Hanhan very much. In fact, Sun Xiaoming's people are not very bad, but they have a little temperament of a young lady, and some look down on others, but from Sun Xiaoming's attitude towards Wang Hanhan, it can be seen that Sun Xiaoming is not bad. After Kui Ziyuan dealt with Wang Hanan's entry, he fell asleep on the office chair. They played until the early morning last night, and when they got home, they washed their wet pants and went to bed very late. While Kui Ziyuan was sleeping, Xing Jun, the boss of the company, pushed the door and walked in. Seeing Kui Ziyuan sleeping, Xing Jun's brows were slightly wrinkled. Don't you know how to knock on the door when you enter the office? Kui Ziyuan, who was sleeping, was awakened by the sound of the door opening. In the sales department, he is the emperor, so don't be afraid of anything. After Kui Ziyuan finished speaking, seeing that no one answered, he opened his eyes and saw Xing Jun looking at him, so frightened that Kui Ziyuan fell off the chair at once. Xing, President Xing, why are you here? Kui Ziyuan looked panicked. Xing Jun rarely came to the sales department. I don't know why he came suddenly today. Xing Jun just glared at Kui Ziyuan, did not scold him, but looked at the people working outside through the office window, but Xing Jun's eyes were only on David. Chapter 105. At this moment, Wang Hanhan had something to look for David, and he followed David closer. He looked very familiar. Xing Jun frowned and said, Manager Kui, who is this girl? Hui Ziyuan looked quickly and found that Xing Jun was talking about Wang Hanhan, and hurriedly said, Mr. Xing, David's girlfriend at this time, Wang Hanhan, just joined the job today. David's girlfriend. Xing Jun was shocked. Seeing Xing Jun's expression, Hui Ziyuan was startled and nodded slowly. Yes, it's his girlfriend. Soon, a sneer appeared on Xing Jun's surprised face. Look for an opportunity to take some intimate photos of the two of them, but take them secretly and send them to me. Got it. Hui Ziyuan nodded. Xing Jun left happily, while Hui Ziyuan was stunned. He didn't know when Xing Jun had such a hobby. Brother Chen, the one who owes the most money in our group is this boss Meng. He owes nearly 1 million, and he owes it for 2 years. Several salesmen have gone to ask for it, but none of them have come. I heard that the salesperson was beaten out. Zhang Tongjian sat at the workstation, pointed to a batch of arrears on the computer and said. David looked at the time, then nodded and said, then use him for surgery. Let's go and ask for it now. If we want to come back, it won't affect the meal. Let's go for it. Zhang Tongjian asked in surprise. Of course, otherwise how many people will go? David was stunned. Brother Chen. Zhang Tongjian was frightened, his face full of doubt. Brother Chen, I heard that boss Meng used to be a socialist, but now he has been cleaned up and started a company, but he still has a lot of people. If we just go there, we will definitely be beaten. Many salespeople have been beaten, and I heard that there is also a female saleswoman who went there, and she got a big belly. Are you afraid? David looked at Zhang Tongjian and asked seriously. Zhang Tongjian didn't know how to answer. He was really afraid. With this kind of customer, who wouldn't be afraid? That's what you do. If you're afraid, don't do it. If you haven't tried some things, you never know if you'll succeed. After David finished speaking, he directly printed out the information of boss Na Meng and walked out. Brother David. Seeing that David was gone, Wang Hanhan chased after him. She knew that Hui Ziyuan had given David a task. At this time, David was definitely going to ask for the account, so Wang Hanhan planned to help David ask for it. David's temperament is a little impulsive, and Wang Hanhan is afraid that he will conflict with others. Are you going to ask for the account? Wang Hanhan caught up with David and asked. Yeah. David nodded. Let me see. Wang Hanhan took the information in David's hand and looked at it. The two are very close to each other, as if hugging each other, looking very ambiguous. Seeing this, Hui Ziyuan in the office hurriedly took out his mobile phone and secretly took a few pictures and sent them to Xing Jun. Brother David, I'm afraid this is a dead account. It hasn't been paid for 2 years, and it has to be passed many times. Looking at the information, Wang Hanhan frowned slightly. This is the biggest sum, no matter how difficult it is, you have to try it. David smiled slightly. Well, I'll accompany you. Wang Hanhan nodded. I'll go by myself, you don't have to accompany me. David quickly waved his hand and said. Your temper is too impatient, so let me accompany you. After all, we women have an advantage in getting accounts. As Wang Hanhan said that, he pulled up David's arm and walked out. Upon seeing this, Hui Ziyuan immediately stole a few more photos and passed them on to Xing Jun again. Just after David followed Wang Hanhan out of the company, Zhang Tongjian also ran out, caught up with David and said, Brother Chen, we are a group, I can't watch you take risks by yourself, if it's a big deal, I'll go too. Chapter 106. Zhang Tongjian wanted to understand, so he chased after him. Seeing that Zhang Tongjian was going with him, David's face showed a touch of relief. He patted Zhang Tongjian's shoulder and said, Don't worry, with me, you won't be beaten. Zhang Tongjian just smiled helplessly. He decided to go with David, just to keep his job. He and David were in the same group. If David went by himself, Zhang Tongjian was afraid that the above would know and he would be fired. Soon, David and the others found Boss Meng's company according to the address on the information. The company is not big, only 2 floors, and the signboard at the door is very old. This company won't be yellow, will it? Are there still people in it? Wang Hanhan looked at the sign at the door and said worriedly. If the company goes down and people run away, then the account is dead. Go in and have a look. After David finished speaking, he walked in first. As soon as I walked into the company, I heard the sound of shouting and drinking, and the smoke was lingering, and the choking people were a little breathless. In the lobby of the company, 7 or 8 shirtless men with tattoos were smoking and playing cards, all with red eyes. Seeing this scene, Zhang Tongjian regretted it instantly, and gently pulled David's sleeve. Brother Chen, why don't we come back another day? Wang Hanan's face is also a little ugly. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't look like a company, but more like a bandit den. Since you are here, why do you have to meet the boss before leaving? David said disapprovingly. At this time, someone found David and the three of them, so he got up and walked over. What are you three doing? We are from Xinyu Daily Chemical Company, come to find Boss Meng. David said lightly. Do you want an account? When the man heard it, he immediately knew what David and the others meant, and frowned slightly. Brother Meng is not here, hurry up and don't interfere with our playing cards. After speaking, the man was about to go back to continue playing cards, but just after taking 2 steps, a girl in enchanting dress and heavy makeup came down from the 2nd floor. The girl was not very old, but she was wearing rouge and vulgar powder. The innocence of a girl. Liangzi, Brother Meng, let them go up. The girl said to the big man who had just stopped David and the others. The big man nodded. You guys go up. After finishing speaking, the big man went to play cards without looking back, while the girl glanced at Wang Hanhan and said, come with me. David and the others followed the girl upstairs. Zhang Tongjian trembled with fright, and almost fell down the stairs. At this time, in an office on the 2nd floor, Boss Meng was holding a cigar, his feet were on the desk, and he was humming a little song leisurely. There were also a lot of toilet paper scattered on the floor of the office, and the air was also full of there is a smell of erosion, and you don't need to guess what happened here just now. Soon, the girl took David and the others into the office, and Boss Meng was still holding a cigar, but his eyes were always on Wang Hanhan. My heart is raining. Boss Meng asked indifferently. Yes. David nodded. I owe you the money, I've already prepared it. With that, Boss Meng winked, and the girl who had just brought David and the others up immediately opened the safe beside her. I saw banknotes neatly placed inside, more than 1 million. Seeing that Boss Meng was so refreshing, Zhang Tongjian and Wang Hanhan instantly became excited. They didn't expect things to go so smoothly, and Boss Meng didn't pay the bills, as the data said, and even called someone who wanted the bills. Only David's mouth was slightly raised. He knew that Boss Meng could not give money so readily. Chapter 107. Sure enough, after revealing the banknotes, Boss Meng put his feet off the desk, looked at Wang Hanhan with silver eyes, and said, I don't like dealing with men, you can have money if you want. The woman stays, you two get out, I promise to repay your arrears. When Wang Hanhan heard this, he was so frightened that he hurriedly hid behind David. Seeing Wang Hanan's frightened look, Boss Meng suddenly burst out laughing. It's just in righteousness to pay off debts, whoever wants it, you have to give it. David said coldly. It's just right. Boss Meng looked at David like a fool. Are you new here? Didn't your colleague tell you the consequences of coming to me to ask for the account? I told you, but I don't believe it, so I want to try. David nodded. Oh, after so many years, this is the first time I have encountered such a kind. Since you want to try it, then I will fulfill you. With that said, Boss Meng swung a punch at David's nose. Wang Hanhan was behind David. Seeing Boss Na Meng's shot, he pulled David nervously, wanting to pull David away so as not to be hit by Boss Na Meng, while that Zhang Tongjian hurriedly took 2 steps back, for fear of hitting him. Own. But Wang Hanhan couldn't pull David. David looked at Boss Meng with a sneer. Just when Boss Meng's fist reached David, David suddenly shot and grabbed Boss Meng's fist directly, followed by a cracking sound. Boss Meng only felt that his fist was clamped by a vice, and then the severe pain hit, making Boss Meng scream. When the girl who brought David and the others up saw this, she turned her head and ran out. It was obviously called someone. Tongjian, you and Hanhan are going to get the money. You don't want any more, but you don't want to owe us any less than a cent. David controlled Boss Na Meng and said to Zhang Tongjian. Zhang Tongjian was too frightened to move for a long time, but Wang Hanhan glanced at David and hurriedly walked to the safe to start taking money. Soon, more than 1 million was filled in a bag. Wang Hanhan said to David anxiously, Brother David, the money is in hand, let's go. As soon as Wang Hanhan finished speaking, a burst of noisy footsteps came, and the 7 or 8 tattooed men below had already rushed up and directly blocked the door. Boy, let Brother Meng go quickly. Dare to do something to Brother Meng, you are courting death. When Liangzi saw that David was controlling Boss Meng, he shouted loudly. Get your people out of the way. David ignored that Liangzi, but exerted a little force, and Boss Meng's hand made a sound of bone cracking again. Boss Meng was sweating profusely from pain at this time. Although his eyes were full of anger, he had no choice but to shout loudly, get out of the way. Very open, dodge away, David said to Zhang Tongjian and Wang Hanhan, you two take the money back to the company. Brother David, won't you come with us? Wang Hanhan wondered. You go first, I'll go back later. David said. Wang Hanhan looked at David worriedly, but Zhang Tongjian pulled him directly and said, let's go quickly, staying here is also causing trouble for Brother Chen. Zhang Tongjian took Wang Hanhan and ran out, but after running out of the company, Wang Hanhan gave Zhang Tongjian the money and asked him to bring him back to the company. While she was waiting across the road, and David, who didn't look, came out, she was worried. After Zhang Tongjian and Wang Hanhan left, David released Boss Na Meng. Boss Meng, who was freed, was instantly furious. Boy, I must kill you today. Chapter 108. David ignored him, but looked at the big cigar on the desk, picked up one and sniffed it gently. Such a good cigar, what a waste. After finishing speaking, David lit one, took a light breath, and slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. David's expression seemed to be enjoying himself. Seeing David's indifference and intoxicated look on his face, everyone went crazy. Boy, you hurt Brother Meng, I want your life today. As that Liangzi said, he punched David with a punch. The punch was very powerful, and there was a slight sound of breaking the air. Obviously, this Liangzi was a trainer. In the face of Liangzi's punch, David still looked like he didn't care, took another puff of cigarette, and then spit it out at Liangzi, who was rushing over. Originally, Liang Zi, who had come at an extremely fast speed, was shot by David with a puff of smoke, and the whole person seemed to have been immobilized, and suddenly stopped moving, and the fist was only a few minutes away from David. cm distance. At this time, everyone looked at it in disbelief, and in the eyes of everyone in disbelief, David kicked out and kicked the Liangzi directly out, and the huge body flew directly out of the office, and fell heavily on the ground. Liangzi. Boss Meng's expression changed, and he hurriedly ran over to check. You must know that Liangzi is the best player here, and has practiced Sanda for more than 10 years. When Boss Meng ran up to Liangzi, he was stunned, only to see Liangzi's chest sunken, blood spilling from his mouth, his eyes wide open, lying on the ground motionless, not knowing whether he was dead or alive. Kill him for me. Boss Meng is angry. He has never been bullied like this before, and now he is going to tear David to pieces. After getting the order, the remaining people rushed towards David together. They didn't believe it. No matter how much David could fight, in this small space, he could still beat their group. Court death. David snorted coldly, and then his body rushed into the crowd like a whirlwind. David's speed was extremely fast, and those people couldn't see David's shadow at all, and they were knocked to the ground one after another. In just a few seconds, the floor of the office was full of mourning people. Although David didn't kill them, he also broke his hands and feet and was seriously injured. This time, Boss Meng was dumbfounded, and the girl beside him was even paler than powdered. He really could not have imagined that with so many of his own people, he couldn't even beat a guy who seemed to be weak. Who do you say you owe money to? You owe me money. I hate people who owe me money the most. David walked towards Boss Na Meng with a sneer on his face. You, who are you? I owe Xinyu Raihua money, are you not Xinyu Raihua's employee? Boss Meng looked at David in panic and asked. Of course, Xinyu Raihua is the company of the eldest Su family, Sonia, and Sonia is my woman. So, don't you just owe me money? David said with a playful smile. Your woman. Boss Meng looked confused, but then his pupils began to dilate, and his eyes showed panic. You are the one. Boss Meng opened his mouth wide, and in the end he was so frightened that he even released his voice. This Boss Meng has also been involved in the Dao. Although he is not qualified enough to participate in the banquet held by Ji Yuwenchen, he knows a lot of news. Of course, he has heard about David, but he has never been there at all. Think about that. The person who defeated Feng Sihai, even Ji Yuwenchen and Lin Tianyu respected, turned out to be this unremarkable young man in front of him. Chapter 109. Boss Meng couldn't believe it, but he couldn't help it. PFFT. Boss Meng couldn't support it, and knelt directly in front of David. Mr. Chen, I have no eyes, I beg Mr. Chen to spare my life. Boss Meng desperately kowtowed and begged for mercy. If David was just Sonia's boyfriend, he wouldn't be so afraid. After all, if he dared to owe the Su family money, he wouldn't be afraid of the Su family. Although the Su family was the richest man in Horrendal, it was only a business family after all. Mixing in the underground, not afraid at all. But David is not only Sonia's recognized boyfriend, but also a guest of Lin Tianyu and Ji Yuwenchen. This is not something he can provoke. Looking at the appearance of Boss Meng, David sneered and walked directly past Boss Meng. David walked back, and Boss Meng slumped on the ground. Under him, he was already wet. When David walked to the street and was about to take a taxi back to the company, he suddenly saw Wang Hanhan running over from across the road. Brother David. Seeing David coming out, Wang Hanhan ran towards David excitedly. When David saw that Wang Hanhan hadn't left and was still waiting for him, he was immediately moved. But just as Wang Hanhan was crossing the road, a speeding car rushed over. Seeing this, Wang Hanhan was so frightened that he froze on the spot, and his mind went blank for a while. When the driver saw someone rushing onto the road, he also desperately stepped on the brakes. The harsh braking sound and the smoke from the friction of the tires made the whole atmosphere instantly tense. Seeing this, David, with luck in his dantian, rushed out at once, directly blocking Wang Hanhan. His hands firmly resisted the speeding car. Soon, the car stopped, and Wang Hanhan was still standing dumbfounded, her eyes full of terror. Hanhan, it's all right. David took Wang Hanhan and walked across the road. Blind, how do you walk? The driver rolled down the window and cursed loudly, apparently frightening him too. After David pulled Wang Hanhan away, the driver got out of the car and looked at his car. When he saw a pair of deep palm prints in front of the car, the driver was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat and hurriedly got into the car and ran away. Hanhan, why didn't you go back to the company? David asked with concern. At this time, Wang Hanhan had recovered, and she herself did not know why she was not hit by a car. Seeing David asking herself, Wang Hanhan hurriedly said, I was worried about you, so I waited for you outside. Brother David, are you all right? Wang Hanhan looked at David with concern. It's okay, those guys are just bullying the soft and afraid of the hard, let's go back. David stopped a taxi and followed Wang Hanhan towards the company. At this time, in the company's sales department, a group of salesmen sat around and discussed in a low voice. Then David is so courageous that he dares to go to Boss Meng's to ask for the account. He doesn't know that the people who asked for the account before were beaten up. No, why did Wang Hanhan follow? That Boss Meng is so sensual, she wants to sleep when she sees a beautiful girl. The saleswoman who asked for an account last time in our company left her job after getting the account back. I heard that she was pregnant later. That's Boss Meng's. Let's wait and see, David will definitely come back with a bruised face after a while. These people were discussing in a low voice, while Sun Xiaoming frowned slightly, worrying about Wang Hanhan. She doesn't worry about David, even if David is maimed, she doesn't worry, but Wang Hanhan is a little girl who hasn't been recruited yet. It would be a pity if it was ruined by that Boss Meng. Now Sun Xiaoming is a little regretful, and she had stopped Wang Hanhan and prevented her from going with David. Chapter 110. It's not time to get off work, so what are you talking about if you don't work? Do you want to deduct your salary? At this time, Kui Ziyuan came out of the office and yelled at a group of salesmen. When everyone saw this, they hurriedly returned to their workstations. At this time, a salesman said to Kui Ziyuan, Manager Kui, David took someone to ask for the account from Boss Meng. When Kui Ziyuan heard this, he was stunned for a moment, and immediately said with a look of schadenfreude, this guy, in order to express himself, even wants his life. If he can get the money back, I will drain the toilet water. As soon as Kui Ziyuan finished speaking, Zhang Tongjian came back with a sweaty face and a black plastic bag in his hand. Seeing Zhang Tongjian's return, Sun Xiaoming hurriedly asked, Tongjian, where is Hanhan? Zhang Tongjian grabbed the water on the table and drank the bottle in one breath. Then he took a breath and explained everything one by one. When everyone heard that there was $1 million in arrears to be returned in the bag, they were all surprised. Then Kui Ziyuan even tore open the bag, and the white bills were scattered all over the floor. This time, Kui Ziyuan's face became very ugly. He didn't expect David to actually ask for the money back. He just said that David could get the money back, so he drank the toilet water. Hanhan, this girl is too infatuated, and I don't know what's so good about David. When Wang Lanlan heard that Wang Hanhan actually stayed and waited for David, she immediately said a little puzzled. Sun Xiaoming is also a little worried about Wang Hanhan. As for David's life and death, no one cares. Just when everyone felt sorry for Wang Hanhan, David came back with Wang Hanhan. Seeing that David's body was intact, everyone was surprised. David, you didn't get beaten? Kui Ziyuan asked strangely. It's only natural to pay off debts, why did they beat me? It's almost like I beat them. David said with a cold smile. And Sun Xiaoming walked up to Wang Hanhan. Hanhan, are you all right? Seeing that your face is not good, don't go out with him in the future. Miss Xiaoming, I'm fine. Wang Hanhan smiled. David, since you can ask for the account so much, then the company's debt will be handed over to you in the future. You are only responsible for asking for the account. At this time, Hui Ziyuan handed over all the arrears of the entire sales department to David. David didn't refuse. Even if Hui Ziyuan didn't give it to him, David would have to come up. All of it was his money. Seeing that David did not refuse, Hui Ziyuan was a little surprised, but he was very happy in his heart. If all these arrears could be paid, his commission as a sales manager would definitely be indispensable. At noon, a Western restaurant near Xinyu Daily Chemical Company. In a position by the window, Xingjun is waiting for someone with joy. Soon, Sonia walked into the Western restaurant with her bag on her back. Seeing this, Xingjun hurriedly stood up and waved. Sonia, here. Sonia walked over with a bit of indifference on her face, and sat opposite Xingjun. What's the matter with me? Sonia, I just feel like I haven't seen you for a long time, so I want to invite you to dinner. Xingjun said flatteringly. If it's all right, I'm leaving, Sonia said, getting up. Something. Seeing this, Xingjun hurriedly stopped Sonia. Sonia, you know how I feel about you. I have never liked another girl for so many years, can you? Can't. Before Xingjun finished speaking, Sonia interrupted directly. Xingjun, I hope you can understand who you are. You are just the manager hired by my Su family. I can take you at any time. Remove and replace. You'd better focus on your work. Don't spend any time on me. Sonia's face was cold, and the tone of her speech was also cold, which made Xingjun's face change slightly. Chapter